I got a special guest here. Most of you probably know him. It's Mike Strazaire from Team Prattle Saray. He's the manager and also the one of the coaches there. How you doing, Mike?
Good.
Good. We're just going to talk about a couple fights from each card coming up. There's tons of cards coming up, and we'll just see what Mike's opinion on it is. Hopefully, he doesn't say anything too controversial. Let's see. So today is the day of Premier C, so we'll talk about a couple fights on that. One of the main news that came up is Jeremy Ricco and Shane Stevenson.
Oh, man.
Everyone's coming over to talk to us real quick.
Oh, sorry.
Shane called in on the day away and said he couldn't make it, so Jeremy's kind of bummed out, but these things happen. I've never heard of Shane dropping out of a fight before, so I wish him luck and hopefully he gets better. So Jeremy, they said, advances to the next round for the finals, so he's going to face the winner of the Carlos Candelari versus Adler Jack fight. What do you think about that, Mike?
I think I'm going to be honest. I don't see any problems for Reap. I think he'll take care of either guy standing in on the ground by watching a fight on video or against Dat, which is a really good fight. And his last show, I think he's too talented for anybody in the 135s.
Yeah, Carlos looked real good his last fight, and Adler faced Jeremy before, so if Adler wins this, today, he could technically be having a rematch. That could be some good hype right there.
Adler's a nice kid. We spend our time in the locker room with him. He's a really nice kid. Tough. From what I've seen last time, I think he did take Jeremy down last time.
Yeah, he did.
And then he gets submitted. So
yeah, could be a good rematch potential. We don't know. We don't know. Okay.
I'll be interested in seeing who Reap defends it against at 135 after he wins it. It's
yeah,
interesting to
me. He did tell me he wanted to take probably the rest of the year off. So next year he'll be back. So, is there any other fights on the Premier C card that catches your eye? I mean, there's a lot of good ones.
There is.
I know you want to talk about the soap fight.
I don't want to talk about it.
So we won't talk about that.
But that catches my eye.
But they got two female fights on this card, which is pretty exciting because there's not that many female fighters around in this area, and it's pretty cool to see two of them on one show.
Also, I don't know the female fighters, so I know Sarah. I've seen her fight, and there should be tough fights and equally matched fights. But also Miles and George Bell would be a great fight.
Yeah,
Miles is like he's raw, just a raw talent. I think he has a wrestling background. Nice kid, kind of small, even though he's ripped. And they both bring it, so that should be.
Yeah, I've only seen, obviously Miles only 1-0, and I've only seen one fight. And he looked really good that fight. And George, I've seen both of his fights, and he looked really good as well.
They're both tough kids, so no matter what happens, it's going to be a really. That's one of the fights I want to see the most here. Yeah.
Okay, next in line, we got Reality coming up on June 2nd. There's so many good fights on that card. I mean, one of the main ones that catches my eye is Thane Stimson and Rob Font. I mean, I've seen many of those fighters fight, and that fight is going to be a really good fight.
Thane, obviously, as most people know, was with us for a while. Still very friendly with him. Also friendly with Rob Font, believe it or not. Like, he's from Seattle, and I talk to him often. He's a really nice kid. Funny story, Jeff Watts, after all the crap he talked about with Ricco, dropped his wallet at weigh-ins, and Rob Font brought it back to him.
Wow, that's awesome.
And he's like, and Jeff wasn't there at the time. He's like, "Hey, your boy dropped his wallet." And I was like, "Wow!" Like, I would have kept it. So thanks, Rob. That was really nice of you.
Yeah, Rob's really nice. I've talked to him.
Very well-rounded fighter. Thane's a bull, tough. He's training with Alpha Male now, with Uriah Faber, Nam Fan, Chad Mendez, all those guys, and he does train with them because I talk to him often.
Nice.
And
I see that fight being a really good ground battle.
Yeah, Rob's technique. If Rob can keep it standing, I think he would have the edge. Thane's very strong, but Rob's a good wrestler, so I think this is a really tough test
Yeah.
I would slightly edge Thane on just pure power and if it gets to the ground, but I wouldn't be surprised either way in this fight, whoever wins. They're both really tough competitors. That fight actually really tough fighters. Neither one of them will fight anybody. That's not very good, so.
That's going to be a good one. And then one of the big fights that they just announced is Kaylee Medeiros versus Peggy Morgan. A huge female fight that's going to be there. And, I mean, you can see videos of Kayleen, that big knockout that she got in like 15 seconds or something, and they show her like doing all these workouts, and she can lift like crazy.
Yeah.
And Peggy Morgan's, I mean, she's been what is she, 2-0 now, I think?
2-0, yeah.
And she's fought definitely some good fighters around here, and she's like 6 feet tall, has some crazy reach, and Kayleen's a little shorter, and that could be a really interesting fight. And obviously Kayleen probably can, she has power, can probably, and she has a lot of muscle, could take her down. But if Peggy can keep it on standing, and use her reach, that could be a real good fight.
I mean, I'm not sure. I know they're both very accomplished. So Peggy has an extensive background in boxing, from what I hear, a lot of fights, and I know she's good at jiu-jitsu. Triumph has great jiu-jitsu, and she has great training partners, and they fight anybody. So it's good that Peggy's fighting pretty much anybody, because Kayleen's definitely one of the best girls in New England.
Yeah, and, I mean, she had a good fight at Reality not too long ago with Mariana Cates.
Yeah, and she fought.
She was winning a lot of that.
Katie Merrill 3 times, and she beat her once. So she's tough. She's definitely really tough. Peggy, who should just fight Dan Rivera, right?
Yeah. For CFX.
Kayleen's fought the tougher competition, but Peggy's very talented, and she's finished everybody, and I believe she's won some Golden Glove titles and Naga titles, so she definitely can fight.
Definitely.
So that'll be interesting, and a few other interesting fights will work out. George's fight and knee salvage.
Yeah, that was going to be really good.
Ricardo's fighting at 185, and not only because he's my boy, but him at 185 is going to be exciting because there's only one way the fight's going to end, and it's either going to be this guy is going to get the top and stay on him, or Ricardo's going to knock him out. So it'll be an exciting fight either way.
Definitely, I'm excited to see Ricardo fight again. He has a tough time finding opponents, but he got a couple good fights stringed up right now. It's going to be good.
Yeah, after this fight, providing he takes care of business, we'll have an announcement coming right after this fight about his next fight, which is a pretty big fight and pretty good for the fans. Very, very exciting fight. So we're looking forward to it. We can't get fights for him and me. So if anybody wants to fight Ricardo Georges or Anis Alajadi, please contact me.
Yeah. Okay, moving along, we got CES June 15th. That's going to be a really busy weekend. You got CES Friday night, and you got Maine, the Fight Night Maine, which is obviously in Maine, and then on the Saturday. And then you also have the Battle Extreme, which is going to be in Springfield, which is really cool because that has a really good card. But we'll talk about that in a minute. We're going to talk about CES first. Now, there's a lot of good fights on the CES card.
Yes.
I mean, they got... one of the obviously the main event.
The main event is I've seen Chandler holding this fight. He's Ottawa crew, and he may give Chattel trouble. I don't want to call it upset because I like the way Todd fights and I respect him. And I hope he wins actually. But this kid's a tough kid, Chandler. He trains with Howard all the time.
I've never seen Chandler, but I know
Chattel.
Chattel.
And Chattel's got to keep it standing. If he keeps it standing, he should be able to take care of it.
How about like the co-main event, Ryan Quinn versus Abner Rivera? That fight is going to be good.
It's
going to be a really good ground
That's a better fight than Todd. I mean, that's one of the best fights in all these sheets. So Ryan's a phenomenal wrestler. I've seen him fight like 4 or 5 times. Phenomenal wrestler. And Abner's phenomenal standing, and he's from Team Link.
Yeah.
He's really good on the ground. I believe he could be a brown or black belt, and he's with Marco. So that fight right there, I got to edge Ryan Quinn just because he just has like high college wrestling. He's a really good fighter. He's fought some really tough competition. He gave Ricardo Funch a great fight.
Yeah.
And
he just had a big win in Bellator.
Yeah, and he had a big and he beat up Brett O'Terry on the ground. And I see if it goes to the ground, I think Quinn might not be the most exciting piece of work, but I think he'll be able to hold him down and outwork him on the ground. But Abner is a tough dude, so that's going to be a great fight.
And then another fight I want to talk about on that card is Leon Davis and Jay Backinowski. That's going to be a really good fight. Leon looked real good his last fight. He's gonna step down and weight at 155 to fight Jay. And I don't know a lot about Jay, but I know Leon. That he's a real good wrestling background, and that's gonna be a good fight. Who do you like in that fight?
Well, Jay, to give you a background, is a Division I wrestler. Beat Leon. I talked to Leon yesterday. He beat Leon in high school or college. He had beat Leon in wrestling. He's a Division I wrestler. He fought Ricardo at the TOC.
Yep.
And it was controversial, but what happened was Jay took Ricardo down about 12 times, and Ricardo did far more damage from the ground, but he was on top the whole fight.
Yeah.
And when he didn't like to exchange at all. But this was 2010, so now he's coming back to fight Leon, dropping down weight to 155. I mean, I'm gonna go on my soapbox here and say why crew usually doesn't take these fights unless their fighters are ready, because they don't usually put their guys in bad positions. Like, they like to take easier fights, or fights that they think they can win, which is, you know, smart in a way. And props to Leon for taking it, and props to Backin for fighting someone like Leon. They're both coming down in weight, and he's a great wrestler, but I think Leon will beat him. I think Leon will be able to keep it standing and beat him standing up. He's too good of an athlete.
That's gonna be a good
But it's
fight.
a good fight, very good.
Okay, so moving along, we got Fight Night in Maine, which they haven't announced too many fights yet, but they're promising to have like 18 to 20 fights, which I've seen their cards before. They do it. I mean, it's so much raw talent up in Maine. It's crazy. We had a really good time, Ed and I, when we went to the last one. So obviously the main event they got is Tim Sylvia against Randy Smith. Now, Tim, I don't want to talk. I'm not talking bad about Tim Sylvia, but he has to fight at you have to be under 265 to make weight.
I don't even know how that happens.
And he gotta be. He looks like he's 300 pounds or something. Yeah, I mean, you guys all saw the picture of me, Tyler King, with him, and his fist looks like his.
I don't know the rule on that. I was always wondering, are they just strapping the weight, or?
No, I'm sure that he will make weight. I mean, he's a UFC. He's been in the UFC. He knows how to cut weight. I'm sure he's going to be able to do it. I mean, he's fought locally, or I'm not locally, but he's fought other fights.
If they have to fight at 265, this fight may be different. I don't know if they're going to change it for Tim Sylvia or not, but he does not look anywhere near 265, and I don't care if he can cut weight. He looks like about 340.
Tim Sylvia,
maybe he's 285, 290.
Exactly. Tim Sylvia, we'll find
out.
out.
Muscle, so I'm sure he can cut the weight.
He's professional. He knows what he's doing. I'm sure he'll make it. That's all I got to say. So we'll see.
I can't see Randy Smith beating Tim Sylvia, but I'd like to see it. I'd love to see it happen. He deserves it. He's grinded out his whole career, and he's fought the best fighters. So
that's a huge fight. I can't wait for that one.
I mean, what he did to Tyler King was pretty impressive. So I know Tyler King maybe not Tim Sylvia, but he could be soon. He's a much better athlete than Tim Sylvia.
And speaking of Tyler, he's also fighting on that show against Travis Bartlett. And I don't know a lot about Travis Bartlett, but didn't he fight UFC, or he fought some big organization?
But he's definitely popular, and he's been around. And I know Tyler King. I like Tyler King. Like, some of these guys I don't know personally, but I'm a fan of guys like Tyler King, because he wants to fight the best all the time.
Yeah.
He gives a good fight all the time, and he's tough.
He cut crazy.
He wanted to fight Tim Sylvia.
He cut crazy weight to fight the last fight at CES. He dropped down like
he had to fight at 225.
Yeah, it was a catch weight like 225.
Yeah, he's a very good fighter too.
Yeah, that was a really good fight. I mean, that was kind of like one of the fights I was hoping to see that whole time, and I'm glad we got to see it.
And that's an impressive win.
Thank you to CES for getting that done.
Yeah, he's a good fighter. I mean, he's a former pro football player. I mean, I want to go to the show. I can't go to both CES and the main because I have to work on Sundays, but I need to make it up to a main show.
This fight, I don't know if you know about. I'm sure you know Derek Shorey against John Rayo.
Yep.
But John, he's a local Maine guy.
Derek is too.
He sells a lot of tickets up there.
I think they're both former state champs with Maine.
He had so many fans at that last show. And I guess they call him like postman or something. He actually delivers mail for his full-time job. But that guy stood and banged for like the whole 3 rounds. It was a crazy fight. Shorey's very underrated at his record. Yeah. His record should be a lot better. He's fought some really good fights.
Yeah.
He looked really impressive his last fight. You know, he got the win real quick. The ref stoppage right away.
He was a state champ in Maine. If he trains hard, if he's training the right way, he'll give anybody trouble. But he hasn't really trained the right way. I used to talk to him all the time. I actually helped him out a lot in his training. I've actually had people donate because he's, I don't know if you know his story, but he was a military guy, had a couple stints, and he fought Andre at TOC and actually threw Andre on his head before he got choked out. And him and Andre became friends, and I was friends with Derek for a while, and I really root for him. I haven't seen Rayo. I'd love to go to this show. One other kid is Ryan Sanders, and this kid, like I said about Tyler King, he like, I'm a huge fan of Ryan Sanders. Like, him and Ricco was supposed to fight at GFL.
Yeah, he looked good his last fight.
And he said he promised he would have kept it standing up with Ricco, and most people promised that, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. But I believe he would. He's fought all the best fighters. His gym's very classy, Young's MMA, good gym, and he's fought everybody. And he's fighting Ray Shoddy, who I also have seen train before, and I know a lot about. That's going to be an unbelievable fight. That's a dead even matchup. The whole strong strikers. Ryan really still hasn't been able to display his striking, which is impressive. That's why I'm so impressed by Ryan Sanders, because even though he knows it's going to go to the ground every fight and he's going to get taken down wrestling, he still fights wrestlers every single fight. Like that last fight against Mike Winters, he battled to get up the whole fight.
Yeah, he got out wrestled, but
that's it. He didn't get out. And he's a better mixed martial artist.
It's a little controversial. I swear I saw a couple taps. But, after watching the video, I don't know what I saw. I mean, I was right. I could see my green shirt,
I think he was
right cage side.
I don't know. I watched the video, too, and it's like, I wouldn't. He was kind of just like a slap. You don't know what it was.
I saw a couple, I saw a couple taps
it was a
like
gesture,
that, like twice, but.
He was in trouble, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And not only that, but that fight was very close. Like, that was a really close fight. And Ryan, to lay on someone is what, in my opinion, what's wrong with the sport today. It's like, you can get the takedowns, but you can't just lay on someone for the whole entire round. Like,
he did work.
He did a little work, but Ryan actually did great work on the bottom, great work standing up.
As much as it doesn't
wrestling, I mean, if the Winters and the whole Bomb Squad team's great wrestlers, great fighters. So.
As much as people are like, oh, it's so boring, the wrestler just laying on top. It's part of the sport.
As long as they do work,
fights.
As long as they do work, then I'm fine with it. But if you're just going to lay on someone for 2-3 minutes, then it's not their fault. It's the ref's fault. They got to stand them up.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Ryan's he's a really tough kid. I'm a huge fan of his too. Hopefully someday him and Ricco can fight up in Maine, because we love going to other people's places to fight, and I know he'll accept it. So it'll be good.
Moving along, we got the Battle Extreme, which is a new organization. That's on June 16th in the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Mass, which is real nice that we can have a really good card like this, and it's going to be right here in Western Mass. I mean, it's stacked with ex-UFCs, ex-Strikeforce, ex-Bellator, all sorts of big guys. And I'm not really familiar with a lot of them. I've heard of Rory Markham, but the two local guys that are going to be on there is Alexandra Marino Vaca against Trevor Smith, and that's gonna be a really good fight.
It's gonna be a good fight for about a minute. Vaca's too good. I actually liked the Kim Sturtevant fight.
Yeah, that's the next one I was gonna talk about.
That's the one. If I would, all these shows that if I were to go, that would be the fight I would be most interested in seeing. I know Vaca's more than likely going to beat Trevor Smith. Vaca's a great fighter, always prepared. I mean, he's just amazing on the ground. Kim and Robbie will be a good fight. It's interesting.
Kim's dropping down to 205.
And Robbie's moving up to 205.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Kim, his last fight looked great against Randy Smith.
He did.
He was beating Randy Smith for like 1.5 rounds, and then he went for, I don't know if everyone's seen it, but he went for a jumping guillotine, and unfortunately it didn't work out, and Randy was right on top and got the finish.
I actually look for Kim, depending on his weight cut and conditioning, to win that fight. I think he can beat Robbie. I think he's hungry, he's strong.
Robbie fights for CFX a lot, right? Isn't he like one of their
He was their
champs?
champ. I think he just lost to Sloppy Joe, but I don't know. I mean,
he's
a good fight. He's a good story. He was like, I don't know, way below 500, and then he won like 2-3 fights in a row. Ended up winning the CFX title, which I don't know. It is what it is with those titles, but I think Kim will be a good test, especially at 205. It's good. Kim moving down, it's going to hurt him to do the cut. But Robbie's going to move up to 205, so he might be a little fresher, but
Yeah.
Kim's going to be a bigger, stronger guy. So
Yeah.
that's an interesting fight.
Kim, I'm pretty sure has a strong wrestling background. I mean,
Yeah, he looked good against Randy.
saw it,
I mean,
yeah.
geez, I was shocked how he took him down. He looked very strong. So if you can look, Tyler King fought Randy 5 rounds, and he's as strong as they come. So Kim's very strong.
Okay, moving along, we got one last show to talk about, which is the AFO, which is shaping up to be a really good card. I mean, I know John Johnson's going to be on there, and I don't really know. Do you know Conan?
Just from the AFO, I heard of him.
Yeah, so we don't know a lot about that one, but we know John is always ready to go to war. The Brandon Fleming and Thane Stimson fight is going to be one of the fights that I think definitely going to be fight of the night.
Yeah.
I mean, Fleming was undefeated as an amateur, and I believe he's 1-0, 1-0 pro, and he won a big fight at Bellator with a Peruvian necktie, which you don't hear a lot about. It's not very easy to do.
No, the guy he fought was a very good stand-up fighter.
Yeah.
And he took it to the ground. I guess he got hit a few times, took it to the ground, and finished him, which he's supposed to do. And he's a good athlete, Brandon. He's a really good athlete, good wrestler.
And Thane's really good on the ground. Too. Thane's really good on the ground, so it's just going to be who wants it bad enough on the ground. Yeah. It's going to be a real good ground battle.
And I mean, for me, this is one that our team, because we're close with Thane, and we know who Brandon Fleming is, obviously. We actually are broken up about this because this is a dead even. This fight is as even as you can possibly get. The only problem I have with this fight, and I have with a lot of these fights, is it shouldn't be for a title. But that's another thing. It should be for, if it was like a junior title. This is the best future star title going, Brandon Fleming and Thane Stimson. They're future stars. But when one guy's 1-0 and the other guy's 1-1,
I try not to look at titles. But I just look at the good fights.
But other than that, if it was just fight alone is the best match fight on all these cards, in my opinion. Like just looking at it on paper, like wow, like I have no idea who's going to win this fight. I think Brandon may be a little more versed standing up than Thane with his reach and stuff, but Thane also hits hard. I don't know if he hits hard, but he can punch and he's very determined. And Thane, the thing Thane has is Brandon might be a little better wrestler. Thane's a little better at jiu-jitsu. And this, I'm just saying this possibly. I don't know exactly who's better. I've never seen him wrestle in Naga or whatever, but the thing Thane has is he's fought every single fight he's ever had has been against a tough person. He fought Mike Morin, who's a 3-time New England champ wrestler and a Division III national All-American wrestler in his first fight ever with the AFL. And he was getting beat the whole fight and he guillotined him. And he just beat Tyson his last fight, at 155. And he fought Zach Lang under us and lost a split decision. I think you were there, Warrior Nation. It was an unbelievable fight. Yeah, it was really close. Came down to like a split decision. Yeah, it was a great fight. I mean, Thane lost. I think he lost, but it was a very, very, very close fight, and he did great for the 8 minutes of the fight. And Brandon hasn't really fought many people, like Joe Ping, good fighter. But if that was a stand-up fight, kind of boring, and you just kind of picked him apart. And he's talented, but he hasn't really been in there with the brass. So we'll see. This is going to find. This is a good test fight.
He's going to
This is his first really, really big test. So this will be a very good fight.
Got Brandon Newman, the DJ from.
Yeah, it's my boy right there. He's a nice kid.
Yeah, he'll be fighting Nick Fontecchio from Connors, who came at Cage Titans and won that belt.
I was there.
And he looks. I mean, I don't know. You saw him, but I've heard really good things about him.
Yeah, I talked to Brandon a lot, and I hope you prove me wrong, Brandon.
Brandon tells
this kid Nick Fontecchio can fight.
I mean, let's face it. He trains the Connors MMA. He rolls with Tyler King.
And if that's not enough, he just beat James Smith. Like a drum. I mean, I don't know if you want this fight, Brandon, but
Brandon tells me he's been training hard. Yeah.
Hey, whatever brings out the best in Brandon. I mean, win or lose, he's going to train. If he trains hard, he trains hard.
Yep.
I just don't think it's a good matchup for him. This kid, Nick Fontecchio, oh, man, he looked like a beast. He was not the best conditioned kid in the world, shape-wise, but the kid could go. I mean, he took James Smith's soul.
Yeah.
He was dead tired at the end of that fight. He beat him up. So.
I can't wait till the DVD comes out because I'm actually going to buy that.
Yeah.
Because I want to see some of those fights.
Yeah.
But
there's one of them that I hope gets erased. But we'll talk about that another time.
One last fight. I want to talk about the 125-pound division because there's not a lot of 125-pound fighters, but they've kind of opened it up in mass, and I love the lower weights. so fast paced,
Yep.
and they get a lot of good action. And that one's going to be Shane DeCristofaro against Randy Cole from Sit On, and Shane is from Team United, and I've seen many of his fights, and he always puts on a good show, and Randy Cole from being Sit On. I mean, he fought real good. I believe he fought the last AFO.
AFO, yeah.
And I don't remember who he fought. I can't remember half these guys.
He looked good.
Yeah, that's going to be a really good fight. Is there anyone that sticks out in you?
I love that fight. I actually mentioned on one of the websites like that thing, Brandon. Shane, you saw Warrior Nation, who fought the dude from Bomb Squad.
Yes.
But the kid from Bomb Squad looked like a huge 135.
Yeah.
And I think he may have weighed heavy. I'm not saying he did, but he was just maybe 20 pounds heavier than Shane, which happens to him all the time.
He had to weigh it in the right way.
That's why I like the 125, because guys like Shane get to actually fight guys their own size. And Shane, he did good in that Warrior Nation fight. Like, he fought his ass off, but he was just outgunned. And Randy Cole's a young kid from Sit Tong, nice kid. Looked good at the AFO. So, and these 125 fights are exciting. Like, I'm happy for these guys that they don't have to fight at 135, because some of these, like Shane he fought Josh Baker at AFO before and almost got his arm broken because the kid weighed 153 in the ring, and Shane was like 124.
And and another thing, like Dan Cormier, who's fought obviously a lot, he walks around at 125.
Right.
When he has to fight at 135, he actually has to move up to cut. He has to drink extra water like before the weigh-ins.
Cody Nordby, like, he's not going to be able to be in the UFC at 135, maybe, but 125 is great for him.
Yeah,
because he's a great athlete and tough as nails.
I mean, I know it's kind of crazy thinking about it, that like some of these guys can make 125 pounds and fight for that. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
But
jockey.
That's pretty much what we have for today. It's a pretty long show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Anything else you want to close out with?
No, just well, I mean, this show's been great to our team. We're looking forward to the fight today in a couple hours. Leon Campbell and Sopan should be definitely the most talked about fight on this card. So.
I think that's going to definitely be one of the.
The only thing I can guarantee is that Soap's ready. He's hungry.
Soap looks real good, and I know he's not looking past this fight, obviously, but he has another big fight coming up, I've heard.
Yeah, well, I think no matter what happens in this fight, we're going to fight Ray Wood. So we've already talked to their camp. We talked to another promotion, and we're hoping it's around our area, too.
It's actually been on Northeast MMA under the comments, where Young's MMA came in and said, we want to fight the best. We will definitely fight him, and they want to get it done. And they said clearly right online that they don't care if they fight here or over there. So
did we. And it happened to be that the promotion is in Wilmington, which helps us.
Yeah.
But we'll fight them anywhere, and we're not going to complain about ticket sales and stuff. We've sold 5 tickets here.
But I love that with teams that are like willing to travel to fight the best. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. I mean, we are that team, and Sit Tong is another example of that, because we're both from the Boston area.
Yeah, and they come out here and fight all the time.
They go everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's no choice. You can't fight in Boston, so we don't have the option of saying, let's have one in Revere.
Yeah.
Because the one in Revere, we sold 110 tickets, and we could sell 500 right now. But we can't. People aren't driving 2 hours to watch us. But
Revere is a good area, but it's just too much traffic.
Oh, yeah,
and nobody wants to go there.
Yeah, there's definitely reasons why.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we'd love, like Wilmington, the Shriners would be great for our team and Sit Tong and Y Crew and everybody around Boston, because it's not that easy to travel out all the time to fight. But the Premier's been great to us. We love coming out here. And
they got 2 more shows scheduled, at least that I know of, for this year.
Yep.
So I'm expecting Warrior Nation to probably announce one of their shows coming up pretty soon.
Yep, they're good to us too. Jesse's a good friend of ours, and we love coming out here. It's just we can't really help the promotions if we can't sell any tickets. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with us coming out here either, because I think we do have a pretty good team, and Sit Tong is a great team, and we bring a lot of publicity to Premier and Warrior Nation.
You guys take some real tough fights. Sometimes I wanna say you take 2 tough fights.
Yeah, everybody does. But it's not my choice.
But I gotta say, it's paid off. It's paid off.
I just want to tell everybody out here, not every fight's my choice. So these people say, "Oh, just be patient with Ricardo. Just be patient with us." No, I don't choose these fights. The fighters choose, and at the end of the day, it's my choice and Cruz Rome's. But I can't tell a Ricardo George or a Soap Graham that he's not fighting the best because he just won't show up. Because with Corey, people told me that Soap shouldn't fight Corey. And I mean, it is what it is, but we don't go into fights to lose. Like, I'm never going to put a guy in to lose. Soap was ready to fight. We knew that.
Yep.
So the rest of the community can say, you know, you're stupid, this and that. But number one, we don't have a choice. Nobody else will fight, so we want to fight the best. We fought Ricco, we fought Corey, we fight the best fighters. We fought Carlos Neto in Ricardo's debut. Like, if anybody else wants to fight, please contact us because we will take easier fights. We're not against it. We want to fight the best, and
just
we
the way
only
the cards fall.
best. Yeah.
Okay,
But it's
that's
good.
it. That's it for our second show. It's a long one. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Take it easy.